to the interview room. Muzzy checking in, the time's here. How you all doing? Alright, let's begin. Let's have a chat about the fact that I wanna interview the best fighters in the world, and that's that. Had a lot of guests from everywhere, all across the globe. Fighters tell me about the journeys, training, fighting on the road. It's Muay Thai, get it straight. Here to show respect to great fighters around the world. Ask questions and investigate the lives of great warriors, revered and notorious, infamous
and we are good. Got the smiling assassin, Charlie Bubb. How are you, brother?
Good, mate. Good. Thanks for having me back.
Nah, mate. Always a pleasure and a privilege talking to you. Coming off winning a nice little 8-man kickboxing tournament on Prince Promotions after being out of the ring for about 18 months due to the situation and just fights falling through. Tell me what you've been up to before the kickboxing tournament and what you've been up to in that time with all the layoff.
I was up to a fair bit during COVID. For the first bit of it was a whole lot of drinking and drowning my sorrows of not fighting. But after that, got into a bit of running. Ended up doing a marathon. Went down to Sydney a fair bit. Started sparring with Rob Whittaker and his team down there, and then we ended up doing a big charity bike ride to stay fit. What else did we do in the break? Had a couple of fights fall through, but then once we got the offer for the 8-man and started training for that, and it looked like it was all going to go ahead, that's 100% what my focus went towards.
So how long was your training camp for the 8-man?
The fight was March 8th, so I started New Year's Day. So I was pretty fat, and then New Year's night came around and I finished drinking at 12 o'clock, and I pulled my finger out and I said, righto, it's January, February, March, two and a bit months. Went cold turkey, lost the weight, got it done, got the 20G.
How was that? Tell us about that, fighting 3 times in one night. You even got picked yourself up a nice little $1,000 bonus for the TKO or the KO as well. Yeah,
no, it was good. It was a good show. I think everyone that watched it enjoyed it. It was a good, strong 8-man. I was a bit nervous considering I'd been out of the ring for 18 months, like we said. And, just getting back in. The first fight with Daniel Barber was really just getting over those nerves and the excitement of it all. And then once that was over, I kind of settled down. I was surprised how exhausted I was. Like, got backstage, went and sat down, and I was surprised how emotionally wrecked. I was like, oh fuck, I got to fight 2 more times. I kind of laid down and I was like, this is shit. Then found out I was fighting Samad next, so just had to G ourselves up a little, and because it's a hard kind of thing because you can't watch the other fights because you're focusing on yourself, but you want to know what everyone else is doing in that. Then got Samad. He came off a cracking fight with Cody, so kind of got the good end of the stick there because he was already a little beat up. Not that I didn't come off a hard fight with Daniel. Daniel gave us a really hard, exciting 3 rounds, but then Samad and Cody punched the shit out of each other. Mm-hmm. And then it was good just to get that W over Samad and get the $1,000 knockout bonus, which was nice. And then went backstage, and me and Jaden were actually in the same corner. So they came back and asked us, they were like, oh, you guys want to swap? And we're like, nah, fuck it, we'll just stay here, get right next to each other. So it was good. We were getting a few laughs, a few joking around and that. And then we even tried to throw the ideas of making it elbows, but they wouldn't have a bar of it. Got that done. Got 3 rounds done against Jaden pretty comfortably. I was happy with my performance. Despite being in a moon boot afterwards, so I kicked his knee at the end of round 2. But 20G in the bank, it all paid off in the end.
Can I ask, were you going into that final when you knew that you were fighting Jaden? Were you quietly confident given the fact that you fought him before and you finished him off in the first round?
I was confident going into the whole 8-man. I knew I knew that I was the favourite. I got told I was the favourite. I was confident I won. I've seen them all fight before. I was 100% confident my striking was. I believe my striking's up there with the best in the world. So I was confident the whole way through. With Jaden, I was surprised how big he was. So, if you ever seen him before, like before a fight, after he's cut weight and he's about to go, he's a big unit. He's a pretty big boy. So, that's the only thing that was worrying me. I was thinking, like just getting caught. It's always in your head, like, if you get caught, you get caught. But no, once the fight started, I knew I was in control, and it might have been in the back of his head that I'd knocked him out before. But yeah, I was, like I said, I was 100% confident winning the whole thing. So yeah, as soon as the fight started, I was in control, and then yeah, by the end of the second round, I knew I was going home for cash.
Yeah, nice. Because when you talked about kicking his knee, I watched a clip of you, and you were gonna have, like, after that fight when you won the 8-man, you were talking about how you were possibly gonna have a boxing match to keep busy. What ended up happening with that?
Yeah, so we had the boxing match. We hadn't signed any contracts or had anything like that done. But yeah, at the end of round 2, I throw I think it's the way I throw punch, I threw like a jab off my left, and then as I stepped through to kick his back leg, I kicked his knee, and like as soon as I hit it, my foot telling me, kicking his leg, kicking his leg. I was like, I fucking can't. It's like, why? I was like, look down at my foot, it's broken. And the size of my foot was that fat, and he just goes, hey, right, I kick with your other leg then. Whatever. So yeah, after that was done, me and my girlfriend we had to go to the hospital. Ended up being there for 5 hours. I was like, fuck, just give me a moon boot, mate. I'm going home. Missed the celebration, so I just went home.
Yeah.
Ended up coming back to Orange, and no one could tell me what was wrong with it. They were saying it was a blood vessel. They said it was definitely no break, but then they were saying it was a blood vessel. Couldn't feel my toes or anything, and they ended up saying it was a hematoma.
Yeah.
Which was that's pretty much, it was a burst blood vessel, and then it's just calcified blood in my foot. And yeah, I was in a moon boot until 2 weeks after the 8-man, which would have been, I think, 2 or 3 weeks away from the boxing fight.
Yeah.
So I was literally just sitting down for 2 weeks, couldn't even go to work, couldn't do anything. So I was, being the competitor I am, I was still trying to think of I could fight, but then we got the offer to fight George on June 5th. So I was like, sat down with Danny and Andrew and had a yarn, and was like, there's no point of having the boxing fight, injuring it more, and not being able to fight George for the WBC title, because it's something I've been working so long for. So we pulled the pin on the boxing fight, but we've already spoke to the promoter and that should hopefully happen again before the end of the year. But yeah, like my main focus has always been Muay Thai, and if you get the opportunity that we've been offered to have that, you're going to take it over a boxing fight any day of the week.
Oh yeah, because boxing's what you do when you're too lazy to do Muay Thai.
Yeah, pretty much. I've had one boxing fight, and I can't tell you how stressful it was. Because if you're doing Muay Thai or kickboxing, if your hands aren't working, you can go to your legs, or if you mix it up in boxing, if your hands aren't working, you're fucked. So you just got to try keep moving and shit, and you just get punched in the head so much. But yeah, if Muay Thai goes stagnant and no other fights, we'll definitely have a look back at boxing. But yeah, we just got offered like too good offer to refuse. So that's what happened with that one. But yeah.
And like, how do you stay so motivated? Like when you had so many fights fall through, then you had, the situation. What was your mindset going in, like, over that period when, like, things were falling through, things weren't happening? Because a lot of people would have just given up altogether.
So it was actually good, because as soon as COVID started, The Last Dance came out, the Michael Jordan and the Bulls documentary. And I was watching that, and I was like, if you don't watch that and want to go for a run, or want to go do push-ups, or want to play fucking basketball or do something, you got something wrong with you. So since that came out, I always had the motivation there. I started looking into a lot more of like great sporting mindsets.
Yep.
So like your Jordan, your Kobe Bryant, like Rafael Nadal, like all the good mindsets of professional athletes. So I started looking into that, and that's just how I stay motivated, because they're always working throughout. Like they never had that break. So I just kept thinking, oh, well, if I put the work in now, I'm not going to be playing catch up in like 6 months' time when this is all over. So that's what kept me going. I did get pretty fat. So I was still pushing, still just like training, nothing too hectic. But then I got the offer to go down and do a bit of sparring with Rob for his fight with Darren Till because they needed an awkward southpaw. And that picked the motivation back up a bit more. But yeah, I was just mainly what kept my motivation high was looking into those mindsets and seeing what all the greats used to do and trying to put myself in that mind frame so I wasn't playing catch up when it got to now.
Are you reading a book at the moment? Because you just reminded me. I remember, I think the first time I spoke to you, and you were talking about when you came over to Perth, you were reading the Mickey Ward book and you were taking inspiration from that. Are you reading anything else at the moment? Like when you just brought up athletes and the mindsets?
Yeah, so I'm actually reading Mike Tyson's at the moment.
Nice.
But I've set myself like a kind of goal this year to read a book a month.
Yep.
So I think this year I've read Tyson Fury's, I've read Michael Bisping's, which is an absolute crack and read. If you're looking for a book to read Michael Bisping's.
What's his one called?
Michael Bisping, Quitters Never Win.
Quitters Never Win. Right, I'll get onto that.
Quitters Never Win. It's just his autobiography. I read Phil Jackson, who's he's the coach of the Bulls and the Lakers dynasty. So he's got all of Michael Jordan's ring and all of Kobe's rings. He coached them all. Read Rafael Nadal's book. I read Matthew McConaughey's book, which is a crack and read again if you want to read a good book. That's another one. And then at the moment I'm reading Mike Tyson's, and I don't know whether it's fate or destiny or whatever, but his mindset and the way he pictures things is exactly how I've been training for this fight and how I want to take this next fight on. So yeah, for a kid that never read anything, reading books has really helped me a lot this year.
Bit of an intellectual now, Charlie, as well as a fighter.
Nah, wouldn't go that far.
You just brought it up. Let's chat about Rob Whittaker. So you helped him prepare for his fight with Darren Till, and then I've seen you, obviously, you must have a relationship there because you've been sparring him a bit more. How did that all come about, and what's it like actually sparring someone like him?
It started with he's one of his striking coaches, Charlie Bachwadi, I think his last name is. I've never actually asked him how to pronounce it. Messaged me and he's like, "Oh, can you come up and do some sparring for Till?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, of course I can. I'm not doing anything." Went there and did a few rounds of him. Went back home and then they messaged me, "Can I come in again? Can I come in again?" And then ended up doing a lot of stand up with him before Till. And I brought it to them and I brought it to Alex Pratt's, his head trainer. I was like, "I really like what we're doing. It's an avenue I might want to go down one day. So I'd like to talk to you about transition and that." And then we'll get you down here the next time too. So then when he was fighting Kennedy, same thing. They got me down. I started a little bit of jiu-jitsu and in the downtime of last year, started a bit of jiu-jitsu to something a bit different. It's just formed that relationship. I sparred with him before I did the 8-man because I wanted a lot of different styles. So I was sparring with him, Jacob Malkoon, who's also in the UFC, with him down there. They got a real good stable of fighters down there. So, we formed that good friendship, that good relationship. So I can I can give them the benefits of stand up. And then if I want to transition, they got Izzy and Sione down there who are phenomenal wrestlers and grapplers. So if I need to be helped out that way, it's a good relationship to have there. That was last year, but sparring wise, he's an absolute beast. He's definitely one of the best strikers in the UFC. He's a big boy, but for a big boy, he's so quick. And sparring him's helped me a lot. I hope it's helped him a lot. But you'd want to buy a ticket to watch our sparring rounds, I reckon.
Oh, absolutely, man. And you must do a fair bit of traveling when it comes to sparring because you live in Orange. I've seen you obviously train with Rob. You train sometimes. You go to Canberra for rounds. You go to Bulldog is it Castle Hill? You go. Yep. You go to Sydney. You must do some Ks every week.
Yeah. So luckily I'm going to give a shout out here. We just snuck that in. Luckily I'm in a partnership now with Orange Motor Group in town, so they've given me a ute because my ute was absolutely fucked. And if I didn't get given this ute, I would have had to spend my 20 grand on a ute. But I've been given a ute by Orange Motor Group, So yeah, that's helping me a lot drive because, like you said, just for this camp alone, um, I did a week sparring. I did a weekend in Brisbane with our 81 kilo Olympic representative up there. Then I came back. I've been to Bulldog. I've been to Evolution Gym with Charles Jonya. I've been to Canberra twice. So yeah, because when you're at the level we're at, you need the best sparring.
Yeah.
Pretty much in the world. So yeah, I got no one here to spar. So I go to Muay U in Canberra with Kieran Walsh, Dave Pinnapede, Josh Tonner, all the boys there. And I needed a really tall guy to spar this fight because obviously George is a monster. So and just so happened Charles Jonya messaged me and asked a little bit of sparring. And turned out he did Tai Tuivasa, did a lot of striking with him before he fought Stefan. Is that how you say his name? Stefan, that big tall UFC dude, Stefan.
I'm not sure of that guy, but I do know the Tai Tuivasa, Eshays.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's sparring partner, Charles ended up messaging me and he's like, oh, can you come down for some rounds? I was like, yeah, righto. I got there and he was 2 meters tall and a southpaw. I'm like, fucking beauty.
Perfect.
So got good rounds in with him. I'm going back there next weekend for my last sparring. So yeah, I do a lot of Ks, but like it's formed good relationships. Like it's formed good relationship with Muay U, good relationship with Bulldog, good relationship with Smeet and Grange, with Alex and Rob and Jacob and all the guys down there. And then yeah, I'm willing to do the traveling because it's just opening up more doors for me.
You know how you've got your gym at your house or at your dad's house? Have you got more people? Do you have have you got friends or people wanting to, because people seeing you and seeing how well you're going? Have you got people that want to join your gym?
Now, so the situation's actually swapped over there. I won't get into it for family reasons, but I'm not training there anymore. But
okay.
Where I was doing jiu-jitsu in town at United BJJ and boxing, I went there for a few jiu-jitsu lessons, and I knew the owner in passing, but his brother used to be a good MMA fighter, Ben Combi, who's unfortunately passed on from us now from cancer. So yeah, we knew of each other, and then I went in there for a few jiu-jitsu lessons, and he's like, oh, you need a place, and then he heard about me leaving my dad's house, and he's like, oh, if you want to do anywhere to train, if you want to come train with us, teach a couple classes. So yeah, I got a couple classes running now. It's a lot more, it's just 2 classes a week just to give a little bit back to them, because I've got to be selfish with my time and what I've got, because I've got all the time to teach people afterwards. So I'm just getting everything I can into me at the moment, and then yeah, I'm just teaching my 2 classes a week, and then when I'm old and falling apart, that's when I'll teach kids and more specific training. But yeah, I've started teaching 2 classes a week there too.
Yeah, nice. And you brought up just earlier, so to keep yourself busy, you're doing marathons and you're riding hundreds of Ks for charity. How do you prepare your body and mind for something like that? And I saw you were getting some crazy times when you're doing the marathons, ridiculous.
Yeah, so that actually kind of started out like a bit of a joke. We had a couple of mates around town that were just doing 10K runs, because when COVID hit and everything and the gyms were all shut down and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Some boys were running around town. They go, oh yeah, half marathon this, doing this. So I was like, oh, I may as well jump on the bandwagon. Did a half marathon, and then one of my mates I went to school with did a full marathon, and I was like, oh, may as well give it a try. If he's good enough to do it, surely I can do it. And then yeah, one Saturday morning, I called my mate during the week, and I was like, Saturday morning, I need you to drive 42 Ks out of town and pick me up. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, just trust me. I said, I'm going to leave at 6 o'clock. I'm going to leave at 6 o'clock. I've done the maths. It should take me just about 3.5, 4 hours. Just meet me 42 Ks out of town. So yeah, I got up running one Saturday morning at 6 o'clock, and that's a pretty good time. I think I got it in 3 hours 11.
That's ridiculous.
at that point, I was ready to never put a pair of joggers on again. It sucked because I started off at a cracking pace. I started off at 408s. My average was 408s until about 30 Ks, and after 30 Ks, I hit a brick wall. It's like, if you ever seen the movie Run Fat Boy Run, where he hits a brick wall, I hit a fucking brick wall. I couldn't do anything, and I was just like this. I ended up started walking, but kept a good pace. Would run a bit, walk a bit. Like, this is hard. So I got that done, and then couldn't walk for a week, and so I said, fuck it, to running for a bit. But then we had another thing for the Ronald McDonald House charity we do every year. We do a fundraiser.
Yep.
So it came up with the idea that our mate's son, he has to go to Sydney all the time and travel back to Orange. So we're like, oh, well, why don't we? I came up with the idea on the piss one night and said it to his mum, and she's like, that's a great idea. Stupid idea. We started the Ronald McDonald House in Sydney. First day we did 118 Ks to Lithgow. And the second day, another 118 Ks to Orange. But if you know what the amount, like, driving through there, it's hilly as anything. It's uphill, it's downhill. It's like, I was fighting some demons on that. If you don't think riding the bike's hard, go to that, because it sucks.
How'd you get over that? Or how'd you how'd the mental side of that go?
I was fighting some demons.
Yeah.
on the first day, because I was still sparring with Rob. So I wasn't exactly training to ride a bike. I was still trying to keep fit for sparring, because they're hard, intense rounds when we go there for sparring. So I was getting a little bit of riding in when I could, and whatever. I thought, oh yeah, it's riding the bike. It won't be that bad. And the first day, absolutely broke me. Going down the M4 in Sydney.
Yeah.
On a fucking 2 tyres that are thinner than your finger. And yeah, my ass has never been so sore. But we got to Lithgow, and like, I was ready to call it a day. I was like, this is shit. And some of the boys were there drinking, having a few beers. I was like, how the fuck are you doing that? And they're like, oh, they had nothing wrong. So I ended up getting a tarp and put it in the back of my ute. I think we bought like 20 bags of ice, filled it up with water, and we all just sat in an ice bath in the back of my ute, just trying to get some feeling back into my ass cheeks. But then the second day, we all just got up on our bikes, and it's like, the vibe was really good. It was just, like, fuck yeah, let's just get home. Let's pump this. So yeah, the second day was actually better than the first day. We pumped it home, and the support was amazing. We ended up raising over 110 grand for the Ronald McDonald House, and like, it's something that's very, very passionate to us. So we've been doing it for 2 years now. The charity event, we're up to 140 grand, and I think this year we're going to do a triathlon. So it's going to give us something else to train for and challenge ourselves. So yeah, we got that at the end of the year too.
You're just a sucker for punishment, aren't you, Mr. Bubb?
Yeah, I wanted to do a fight night, but since we had the idea, we were talking about it, like, oh yeah, we'll do a fight night this year, and then with the combat sports and with everything, it's just too much to organise so quickly. So we're like, we'll do a smaller event this year, push a fight night back to next year. So that's more my stream. But yeah, we'll try a triathlon this year and see if I don't drown myself swimming.
I reckon you'll be right, mate. If you can maintain a 4 minutes 30 for an entire 42 kilometres running, I think you'll be fine. That's just ludicrous. I don't know how you do it, man.
But the thing is, I can't swim. I can swim, but I don't kick my legs.
Yeah.
So my legs drag like an anchor in the back while my arms are pedaling. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Well, I think you mastered how to ride a bike. You mastered how to run, and you've mastered, or I wouldn't say master, but you're at the top of the game for Muay Thai. So I think swimming, mate, it'll be a piece of piss for you, buddy.
Yeah, piece of piss. We have a bath most nights, so we'll be right.
Oi, Epsom salt baths, man, they're key. They are key.
Well, I've been trying ice baths lately.
I love Epsom salt baths, man. I reckon that I find them really good for recovery as well. It's just,
you do them in really hot water, or?
Yeah, I do it in hot, warm to hot. Like when it's summertime, it's just warm, but in winter, hot. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got a bit of a fear. I've noticed that lately. I've been trying to get into a bit more, looking into a bit more recovery, like ice baths and saunas and shit. I've got a fear of heat. Because when I was cutting weight before, when I used to do it stupidly, like you'd sit in the sauna and you'd sweat your absolute gurries out.
Yeah.
And yeah, it'd just be like, it's too hot. Like, and then I go sit, or you do like a hot bath and you'd sweat everything out that way. And now I've got a bit of a fear of it. So if I'm sitting in a bath too long, I start stressing out. So,
Yeah.
or if I'm sitting in a sauna for recovery, I've started to go more the cold route and go the ice baths kind of way. So
Wim Hof.
yeah, I'm kind of weaning myself back onto the saunas and stuff, but it's a slow progress.
That's right. Last time we chatted, you said when I talked about your weight cuts and stuff, you told me that you hate saunas and hot baths and sweating, that you prefer to fast. Is that you still do that way?
Yeah, still do that way. It was successful in Melbourne. It's been successful before. I had to do it my last fight before COVID. I wasn't dieting the best and looking after my body the best, so I had to do a hot bath, and that just sucked. Like it's torture. It's not needed. And then I managed to get to 77 for the 8-man, 78 for the 8-man. Pretty like spot on. I ate the night before and didn't have to get into a sweatsuit or a hot bath or steam or anything. So yeah, it's working for me. It's not taking too much away from my performance. So yeah, I'm going to stick to it until it doesn't work anymore.
Hey, can I ask, when you decided on New Year's Day after your blowout, that's it, and you got back into training, can I ask, what did you balloon up to?
I was 94.
94. Is that the heaviest you've ever been?
Yeah, I want to say, 94. Because I got to the point last year where I was still fit. I was doing that marathon, and I was 92 kilos. So I was like, oh, this is just my body now. This is just my body. I've just grown. Didn't realize I was fat. And then I was like, oh, the offer came for 78, and I was like, oh yeah, I used to fight at 79, and then got on the scales, and I was like, oh shit. So just treating my body like a bit of an amusement park, and then yeah, Christmas came around and New Year's came around, and then yeah, the cold turkey went on, and then like my body started just stripping off weight. I took a photo and put it on Instagram of me and Danny doing pads the first time after New Year. I think it was like the third day of the year or something. And like I was a sloppy mess. And I was still fit, but I was just a slop ball. And I was like, yeah, righto. So this is going to take some time. And then yeah, started work. It just started falling off me. I started losing about a kilo a week until I was sitting at about 83, 80. I was sitting at 84 before the 8-man. And then, I fought the 8-man at 78, and I'm all fine. That was all fine. Then I sat on my ass for 2 weeks on the lounge and got back into training, and I was still only 85 kilos. And even now I'm at 83, 84. So, yeah, I'm over the moon. I'm happy. I'm, like, not eating nothing. I'm eating, like, a good diet. We had pasta for dinner tonight, so I'm not eating nothing. So I feel good at the moment. And I'm 10 kilos lighter from what I was this time last year. So
yeah, because I seen a photo of you hitting pads, and you could see the definition. You definitely look like nice and trim, that the weight was falling off. And that's what I wanted to ask you. Moving from 76 kilos to the 79 kilo division, how significant or noticeable is the increase of power from opponents going from 76 to 79?
It really depends who you fight, to be honest. Like, you get your big hitters. Like, I've obviously fought Toby at 76. He's a big hitter. And then I fought Jake Lund at 76, and he's not as big a hitter. So it's not. It just depends who you fight. And then I fought Vedat H at 77, and everything he threw felt like it hurt.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, the only other fight I've had is with Jaden at 79. And like, he's powerful, but he's a lot more spinny and snappy in his techniques. Yeah. But then, like, same, I fought Dave Pinnipede at 78 or 79, and his leg kicks are astonishingly powerful. And even grappling with him for this fight coming up, he's such a powerful little prick that he's just so strong. And I just look at him like, how the hell are you that strong? But yeah, so it all depends who you fight. Like with George, like, you're looking at him, he's tall, he's skinny, he might still kick as hard as anything. But then yeah, it's just it all depends on who you fight to how hard they're hitting you really.
Yeah, right, okay. And speaking of George, you've got a world title fight coming up on Muay Thai Grand Prix for the WBC Light Heavyweight strap against George Mann, who, much like yourself, is riding a nice little win streak. What's your thoughts on George as an opponent, and how do you see this fight playing out?
Yeah, so my man George Mann. Obviously everyone, if you know George, he's tall as a skyscraper and smart as anything too. So he's not only tall, he knows how to use his size, knows how to use his feet. We've been putting a lot of work into working my game into work around his game and how to avoid what we think he's going to do and whatever. But I can't wait for this fight. I think it's the biggest fight that Australia's got to offer at the moment. Like really, we both beat everyone we can beat. He's the number one in the world at 76. I'm the number one in the world at 79. So, like, it makes perfect sense for us to fight. So, yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a tricky fight. I'm going to make it an exciting fight. So, yeah, I can't wait for 2 weeks.
And I mean, obviously, I know you're not looking past this fight at all, but obviously, you've probably thought about it. I mean, where to after this fight? Like you said, you've pretty much fought and beat everyone in Australia. Where do you go from here? Do you go up another weight division? Do you give MMA a crack? What are you thinking at this stage?
So yeah, the hard thing is obviously number one goal. I'm not looking past that. I want that WBC strap. I've been training for it for 10 years. This is the holy grail that I want to get. But also want to defend that belt because the last two people that have got it have been Jake and Ben, and they're both respectively retired without defending it. So I want to put that legitimacy on it and defend it a couple of times. But yeah, not looking past it. You can't. There's nowhere really to go up. I'm sitting at about 84 kilos. So if the 79 kilos and the next division is 90 kilos WBC, there's no in between. I think one championship they have an 83 or an 84 kilo division. Lion Fight have a 84 kilo division. Who Chip Pollard's the champion there. So if the borders open up and I can get that Lion Fight title, because we've been talking about that before, that's where I want to go. I want to just make that name for myself in striking as one of the best strikers. And then, yeah, from there, if the availability goes to MMA, then might put my foot in the door there. But yeah, 100% our number one goal at the moment is winning that WBC title and defending that title there and just keep it there and putting some legitimacy behind it.
And especially with Line Fight, now that people can actually, outside of America, can actually watch their fights on UFC Fight Pass, that will actually probably give you some good exposure as well over in... Well, I mean, I know Muay Thai is not real big in America, but just the rest of the world and global, it's a global market, that UFC Fight Pass.
So, and just touching on what you said there, how Muay Thai is not big in the world. I had this conversation today. I've had it a number of times.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It's not big in America. It's not as big in America as it is in Australia. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not, like you said, it's not as big. But people in Australia and in America, they talk about how a UFC fight or MMA fight's boring because of the ground game. Like it absolutely does my head in how we're not getting the exposure that they are because we eliminate the ground game.
Yeah.
It's like everyone complains when two guys don't just stand there and punch on. Well, you got 5 rounds of less time, so there's going to be more action than 5 3-minute rounds of grappling. Like, I don't get how pretty much Muay Thai and kickboxing isn't like our number ones aren't superstars yet. It does my head in.
Yeah, they definitely need more recognition for what they do. I also heard. In America, I think it hasn't caught on, like, because they're so, it is predominantly MMA based, they don't really understand the traditions or the customs, like they'll come to the fights and they'll be like, what's this music playing, or why are they walking around the ring, I think they haven't really embraced it as much as what we have it here in Australia. Like, we accept it, we embrace it, we love all the traditions. I think, and they find it not. There's some people that would go to the fight and not find that fan friendly. Like, they don't understand the traditions and the customs, and I think maybe that's what puts them off a little bit.
Yeah. So like they don't like when the Whittaker's happening. They're like, "Oh, why are two people dancing in the ring?" They don't.
Yeah,
They just understand. They just want to see. They just want to see blood.
They just want to see bell's gone. Let's smash on.
Yeah, and one championship is doing good in that way because, like, you got your Muay Thai and your small gloves, your kickboxing, you got your MMA, and even if you are fighting Muay Thai, you don't come in, you don't do the white crew.
Yeah,
it's just straight. You wear your Mong Kong straight to the point. Like that's you got your tradition in Thailand, and then you got your westernized Muay Thai, and I think there's a point where we have to kind of kiss the tradition goodbye a bit. Like, it's all still well and strong in Thailand, but if we want to get the recognition that we all think we deserve and we all beg for, we need to kind of go to that westernized kind of style of walk in, take your Hong Kong off, and fight. So it's just, yeah, to get that exposure, it's just, I think we're going to have to kind of, it's going to be a catch-22. It's going to be lose some tradition, but gain some exposure.
Yeah, most definitely, man. 100%. I like your answer there. Now, I know one thing you're real passionate about is the Quandamooka Cup. Why are you so passionate about that? And tell us about that, because I know that's something that's very close to you.
So passionate to us because in Orange we've had a lot of, especially young males or just young people in general, take their own lives, and it's not seeing them and seeing their struggle because they're not talking about it. They've felt like they're in a too dark a space and they have to do what they've done, but it's the effects on the rest of the community. Like if one person commits suicide, you see 1,000 other people feel the effects from it. So the one of the main reasons I do it is to save the people that we're helping. But if we help one person, then we're helping like 1,000 people behind closed doors, not having that pain. So that's a big thing for us. Like, it started by Sandy. It started from her feeling pain, and if we could have just stopped that one thing, then like could have stopped all these other people feeling pain. So it's a big reason why I do it, because like me personally, I haven't had someone close to me, or I've had a few close mates that have had people close to them, but I see the effects through my friends and through everyone that they were close to. So it's a big thing. And it's great what Sandy's doing. She's got the Super Dry gym.
Yeah, man, 100%.
Up there in Quandamooka now, and they just had their first fighters the other weekend. She's talking about putting on another show, which I think that's going to be in October, which I can't wait to fight on and can't wait to be a part of. So, yeah, then when we had a little downtime last year, because I always do my speeches at the end of my fight, we didn't have that platform to do it on. So myself and Danny, who one of my pad holders and my manager, we thought he's been touched by it personally. So we're like, oh, what can we do? So we made a series of videos with Brendan Cooper, a local filmmaker in town, and we got some videos done, just trying to push our message out there and trying to help people in either way. But yeah, I think it's something a lot of people get around. A lot of people, if you go ask anyone, they're gonna be attached to it in some way. So it's a lot bigger thing than it's a lot bigger thing than what people think. And I think a lot of people turn a blind eye to it because it's easier just to walk away than like have to deal with someone.
Have you got a chance? Have you had a chance to get out to Sandy's gym yet?
No, not yet. I was in Brisbane for Eruption about 4 weeks ago. I didn't get the chance to get over there, but yeah, following everything she does, it looks like she's doing a good job. She's passionate about it. I met a few of the boys there, and like she's put photos up of how they were before and how they are now. You can see them getting some muscles, getting a bit of technique in that, and yeah, it's awesome what she's doing there.
Well, even when you just see their faces, like they look like that, genuinely love it, you know?
Yeah, it's the same thing. What you see anyone do, you see their confidence start to build, you see the passion start to build. especially being on Stradbroke Island, there's not a lot of accessibility to it.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's brought it to them, and then you see like she's doing, oh yeah, you train on a Friday night, we're having a cook up afterwards. Like that's what it's all about. It's about forming that mateship, forming that friendship, because like you can be in a footy team and that all you want, but no friendship's going to be as tight as a fight team friendship.
Yeah. Definitely, man. Definitely. Dude, it's been a good chat so far. Before I let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening and get some beauty sleep, if people want to follow you, contact you, how can they get a hold of you? I know you got your Charlie Bubb Fighter page.
Yeah, so on Facebook it's just Charlie Bubb Fighter. On Instagram it's Charlie_Bubb97. My manager's Denny Maskachef, but Denny being Denny has 3 different Facebook pages, and currently they're all banned and in Facebook jail. So if anyone wants to inquire about fights, about interviews, about podcasts or whatever, just message the fighter page, and then they'll get through to Denny through me until he's out of Facebook jail again.
Oh, naughty boy. And anyone that you'd like to thank or give a shout out to?
A big shout out to my 2 trainers, Andrew Abbott, Danny Maskachef. Without them, I'd be absolutely nothing. They do everything for me. They're amazing families. Everything they do for me here is like unmatched. The love I have for them 2 families is unbelievable. Shout out to everyone that sends messages, support. It's everyone in general that's been here for the ride, and I can't wait to bring it all into tuition on June 5th and show everybody that I'm not all talk.
Well, Charlie, before I let you go, can you just finish this sentence for me, please? On June 5th, come fight night, my opponent and the fans can expect from me
a lot of elbows. I haven't been able to throw elbows in about 2 years since I fought Jaden on Eruption. So, yeah, I'm going to be coming with a lot of elbows. I've had a boxing fight, I've had kickboxing fights in between, so you can expect elbows.
Ooh, it's going down. I'm excited, mate. Well, guys, June 5th, Curtin Stadium, it's going down, Muay Thai Grand Prix. Charlie Bubb taking on George Mann for the WBC Light Heavyweight title. Charlie, been good chatting to you again, man, and I'll catch you in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, buddy.
So you can answer and explain to me the history. I had to throw a vicious knee. I got a passion for the art of 8 limbs. I'm just asking from the heart. So as I conclude this interview, thanks so much for sitting through. Loved all the fighters and the folks that listen. This for you.